Alrighty guys, so today we're going to be learning about fixed perimeter problems with our problem of fence for Fern. So, we're going to be talking about Amelia, and Amelia just got a pet lamb, and her pet lamb Fern needs to have a fence. So Amelia has 18 yards of fencing. The fence has to be a rectangle, and the fencing comes in 1 yard pieces, so there cannot be half a piece of a fence or anything that's not a whole number. So what is the largest area of the fence that the fence could have? What is the smallest area? And how many different options does she have for the perimeter? So to figure this out, we're going to need the fence pieces, and I have different colors so that we can tell the sides of length versus width. And then of course our lamb. So here are the fence pieces here. The blue ones are going to be the width and the length, and the orange ones are going to be the width for us there. And our lamb, Fern. So if we go over here, we need to make a fence with 18 pieces. The fence has to be a rectangle, so we can start with one piece of fence on each end, so that's 1 yard. So that's 2 yards down, so we need 16 more yards. Divide that in half, we get 8 yards. So we have 1 yard down here, 1 yard down here, 8 yards here, 8 yards here, which gives us 1 yard plus 1 yard, 1 yard plus 8 yards plus 1 yard plus 8 yards, which would be 18 yards. And then 1 yard by 8 yards gives us an area, length times width, of 8 square yards. Doesn't look very comfortable in that fence. So if we change the length to 2 yards, we're looking for the same perimeter of the 18 yards. So our width has to become smaller, but we stay with 18 yards. So we have to take away 2 from the width, 1 from each side, and add those to the length, which gives us, right here, we're taking the 2 away from the width and adding those. We're going to get the blue ones out, switch them out here, which gives us 2 yards plus 7 yards plus 2 yards plus 7 yards, which still equals the 18 yards. But it gives us a different area, so 2 yards times 7 yards will give us 14 square yards. A little more comfortable in that fence there. Okay, so if we change our length to 3 yards, we're looking at the same perimeter once again for that 18 yards. Our width has to become even smaller this time, but we still have to stay at the 18 yards. So again, we're going to take the 2 away from the width here, and we're going to add one of the blues in here. So it'll look like this. Look at that fence, it's so much bigger. So that gives us a length of 3 yards and a width of 6 yards. So 3 yards by 6 yards, which gives us the 18 square yards, one of the biggest areas. And then we can show you the perimeter again with the length plus the width, so 2 length plus 2 width, which is 3 yards plus 6 yards, 3 yards plus 6 yards equals 18 yards. So again, we can go up one more. So if we change the length to 4 yards, looking for that same perimeter once again, so our width has to become smaller. So we're going to take the 2 yards away from one width, 1 from each side, and then take the length away from 1 from each, add to the length 1 for each side. So here we took away the orange ones, and we're going to add a blue one. So it looks like this. Look how big that fence is. All kinds of running room. So the length now is 4 yards and the width is 5 yards. So 4 yards by 5 yards equals 20 square yards. So 4 yards plus 5 yards plus 4 yards plus 5 yards, which equals 18 yards. So we have the fixed perimeter of the 18 yards and the 20 square yards. So let's go to the next one. If we add one more to the length, that gives us 5 yards. And we're looking at the same perimeter once again. So we're going to take the 2 away here and we add them to this side. Again, looks like a pretty big fence. So the length is 5 yards and the width is now 4 yards. So there's how those ones look. So maybe you noticed, but our length now became longer than our width. 4 yards by 5 yards is pretty much the same thing as 5 yards by 4 yards. This should mean that we've checked all our options. So we made a table, and let's double check. So we have 1 yard, 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards. And if we look over on this column for the width, 4 yards, 3 yards, 2 yards, 1 yard. So that means we just have the same rectangles, they're just flipped. The length and the width are flipped. So as we can see here, the area is the same as we go back down. So 20, 18, 14, 8, which was the same as we had here. So let's look at this guy here. Our original questions were, what is the largest area that the fence could have? What is the smallest area? And how many options does she have? So let's see if we can answer these questions with the information we figured out. Largest area, 20 square yards. Look for the smallest area, 8 square yards. And how many options does she have? Depends on how you count it. We've got 4 options here, 4 options here. If you count these as being different rectangles as these ones, that means that we would have 8 options. There are 4 rectangles altogether though. So there are our answers to our questions, and thank you for listening.